7 o'clock, and I will call this meeting to order in accordance with the Open Meetings Act, which is posted on the east wall of this meeting room. Tonight's agenda was posted in 3 public locations: the Eagle Municipal Building, Eagle Fire and Rescue, and Eagle Municipal Park. The village board will now stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance, and those in attendance that would like to participate.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, that takes us to item number 1, report from Fire and Rescue.
What's up, guys? Tornado season, pretty exciting. We have 2 trucks out right now looking to see if they see said tornado. So if the tornado siren goes off, please go home. But there's a meeting later. This month, since we last saw each other, we've had 3 fires, 8 rescue calls, and 1 motor vehicle accident. This Friday is our scheduled time to do training with the pool. So that'll be exciting. Get all the friends and employees CPR certified so that we have a good pool season. And then we'll have the first training. The pool is required to do 2 hours a month for continuing education for each lifeguard. So this will get that knocked out over hopefully all of them. But yeah. That's all we got. It is BMS Appreciation Week, so Wednesday, the fire department is going to have some sort of dinner for our members. So, appreciation.
All right, anybody have any questions from people? All right, that takes us to item number 2, updates on the potential for a new fire and rescue station. Should we just skip through this since Luke is not here and there's nothing really going on right now? All right, that takes us to item number 3, open forum. Open forum is for discussion regarding items not found on the agenda and that do not require the spending of taxpayer dollars. Is there anybody present that would like to speak in open forum? Alrighty then. Let's go to number 4. Approve special designated license SDL application for Macintosh Ventures located at 540 South 4th Street for June 21st, 2025 from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. the following day. Any questions, discussion? This is for Eagle Fund Day, correct?
Have we had any issues in the past?
Complaints or anything?
No.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, Jerry?
All right, James,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Marcus,
Yes.
and Dan.
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
All right, that takes us to item number 5. Approve Eagle Park and Rec's request for signage and plans for the community garden.
Here asking for $100. The sign is on, the price actually went down a little bit. It's not very big, it's like a 10-inch by 10-inch sign, but it comes with a stake, and it at least will be something. But the sign is less than $30, it's like $29.82. And then asking for the rest to go towards the veggies and plants and stuff.
Anybody have any questions for
Is this something normally the village pays for instead of the community actually planting them themselves?
Well, last year I did, and so I'm
I'm just pointing out. One of the things we have complaints from is that we're not transparent enough for the public, and yet we have an agenda item here with nothing presented before then for the public to ever see. I mean, they're able to go in and see the packet, which we get. There's nothing there, is my point. So that's why I'm asking these questions, so they understand what it's going for.
making this as transparent to the public as possible, just, I don't know how to go about that, in the best way, but yeah.
What veggies do you, or what do you plan on growing? Or what?
Last year we did did, tomatoes, cucumbers, 3 like sweet peppers. I did mint, which I'm not gonna do again. I'll do another herb. What else did we do? So along the same vein, like for this year, I'm gonna do tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, probably do like cilantro and dill for herbs instead. I think they'll be used more. And then peppers for sure. Peppers grow. That's my thoughts.
I make a motion that we approve the community garden request for $100 for signage and plants.
I'll second.
Any questions? Terry?
All right. Dan,
Yes.
Marcus,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Motion's approved.
All right, that takes us to item number 6. Approve Eagle Park and Rec request to host 3 pool parties during the 2025 season.
Yeah, so we did 2 last year, which were for the kids. And Amber on the Parks and Rec Commission has just said that adults have come to her, saying that it'd be nice to have an adult hosted pool party as well. But it was really well received. At least the 2 that we hosted last year for the kids' pool parties were really, really well attended. I did, I think I got donated, Maureen donated Casey's Pizza for one night, and I think Heidi did the hot dogs for the other time. And so I brought all those, and I mean, like, everything was fun and all of that good stuff. So, speaking of transparency, there was some confusion last year with one of the pool parties where people didn't know who was putting it on and thought that it was like Eagle Alvo Rec or something. And so I really want this to be something that we potentially do annually, and you know that it's a free offering for the community. But I really want to make sure that it's advertised pretty heavily that it's Parks and Rec, you know, that's putting it on. Because I feel like a lot of times it's a pretty thankless job.
Yeah.
And not that I need the recognition, but it would at least be nice that they know without a shadow of a doubt who's hosting. But since I guess some adults have asked, I'm asking for the free. If I can only get 2, maybe we do 1 adult and 1 for the kids, or you know something.
Do you have dates in mind already?
I need to nail that down. It's pretty early with the pool not being open yet, so I think that we shouldn't have an issue getting dates set, but probably 1 in June and 1 in July would be
Do you think you want to do like a Friday or Saturday? The only concern I have is taking a date that would be good for a pool party.
I don't like the thought of taking away from, you know, potentially like a birthday party or something else that would trump, you know, doing something like this. So, you know, I'm flexible with doing like a Thursday night or, you know, something like that instead.
Would you be willing to wait till like the week or week and a half before to advertise, and so then we could be a little flexible with the dates as well?
Yes, yeah, especially because if weather happens,
Yeah,
you
true.
know, then I want to kind of have a backup date in plan just in case we have to postpone.
Sure. I think it's a great idea.
My only concern with the adult one is alcohol.
Yeah.
I get that.
I'm not saying I'm opposed to it. I'm just my only
I
concern
totally
with
get
it.
I think though, you know, for me, it's like extending trust, you know, to the community. I don't know. I feel like a lot of things have been shot down lately. So,
Yep.
and if it is something that adults abuse, then I have no problem being like that didn't work. We're not doing it.
Yeah. Maybe when we advertise it, just specify
Specify.
on there no alcohol.
Yeah, it has to
And
be responsible.
yeah, I'm up for it. Pending dates. I'll motion to approve. Pending date appropriation.
Well, I'm a little concerned about expanding it to 3, though. And the reason I say that is, hey, our Eagle Fire Rescue has 1. And I don't think there's anybody in our area that would argue that, hey, they're entitled to it just as much as you know, your group would be, but
Sorry, hang on. That shouldn't happen. There you go.
Oh,
that's just my opinion up front. Some,
Yeah, I want to prioritize the kids' wants more than anything. That's more important.
I like,
Sorry,
I
were you-
like it being flexible.
How many were you motioning, Marcus?
I'll motion to approve all three pending dates. But
And then
yes,
it depends on the weather.
yeah.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Maybe you won't get three, depending on how the weather works out or something, or we get at
We'll
least
see,
two
maybe
out of
we
it.
do the adult one on like a random Tuesday or something, just so we can really make sure that weekends are free for anyone else that really wants to utilize the prep stuff.
Get with Berkeley and see your dates and stuff.
I don't know who that is, but I'll call.
She's already, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, so Marcus moved, Dan seconded the motion.
Yep. go ahead.
Do we need to vote?
Yep.
All right, John,
no,
James,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Marcus,
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
All right. 4-4, one against, motion carries.
All right. Thanks, Liz.
Yeah, thank you. It's fun.
All right, that takes us to item number 7. Approve the application for payment number 2 to Wright Sewer and Water LLC in the amount of $13,050.42 as part of the 6th Street Water Main Extension Project.
well, it appears that our engineers have gone ahead and signed off on this, so with that in mind, then they're satisfied with the work, so.
Everything's been seeded. Finalized there.
It was seeded. Apparently last fall. Is it staying very good? No, it's not, but
It don't rain.
Nick and I made the call to, it was seeded, and you can tell because if you look real closely, there are strips of grass. So we're going to have to add more seed, but it's not worth holding up the money.
Any further discussion? Can I get a motion to approve?
I make that motion to approve application for payment number 2.
I'll second.
second.
Any further discussion? Terry?
All right, John moved, Dan seconded the motion. Voting, Dan,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
John,
Yes,
James,
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
5 in favor, motion carries.
All right, that takes us to item number 8. Approve the transfer of $25,000 from the general fund to the park fund for the 2025 pool season. This is to pay the lifeguards.
Yep. We do this every year.
Right.
I'll motion to approve the transfer of 25,000 from general funds to the park funds.
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Terry?
Marcus moved and Dan seconded the motion. Voting, John,
yes,
Marcus,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
4, motion carries.
All right, that takes us to item number 10, report on wells and sewers. Do you have anything?
Streets and maintenance.
Number 9.
Oh, streets and maintenance. Sorry, I circled that.
All right, so the crack sealing company called us this morning and said they'd be here tomorrow morning. So bottom line, Nick and I went out and spent an hour and a half marking. We went around the entire town, marked. So if you see orange paint, and we didn't have any other paint, we didn't want to use blue, white, etc. So we used orange. We marked the cracks. We're well over the number of feet that they're going to be able to seal. I think we will actually start up on Gage and Olivia because it's got some cracks, not very many feet, but we want to get those sealed up. We've got some down here on Second between, I think it's E and F. Anyway, we've got spotted ones with very few linear feet. The major ones are going to be First Street from the trail to where the gravel goes, and there's a lot going down A Street, from First Street to Fourth. I don't think we marked any on Fifth. Anyway, we have a map and to show them tomorrow along with a written guide for them. So we have them prioritized. I'm sure they're not going to be, we're going to run out of money before they get to everything, but we've got to get First Street from a trail to the gravel, because that's terrible. Should have been done last year. Anyway, it's all marked out, so that's the streets. On maintenance, obviously, most of you know what's been going on at the pool. We've got the pump running again. The first couple of days it ran fine. Then I believe the report was Friday, it would quit running. It was off all weekend. Got it going, I don't know, sometime around 11 noon today. It ran when they started using the vacuum. Dan reported that it quit again. Cleaned the basket, etc. It got it going again. Electrical issue of some kind. Not completely solved yet. Being worked on. Let me see.
We went ahead the last meeting and approved that concrete work to be done on the sidewalks. And we got any idea when they might come in and do that? I mean, that's 2 weeks already, so.
I know Nick placed a call into him, I think Friday. I don't know what the response was.
Okay.
But yeah, we called him. We're waiting on a lot of people. We call them and either they don't respond or they give us a date and they don't show up. So, but anyway, that was checked on towards the end of the week. Let me see if there's anything else for that. We visited with Barbara. Oh, let me see.
The last person you talking about?
No, our engineer
Oh, okay.
on, I think that was Friday too.
Yeah, we had a meeting with her.
Yeah, we had an online meeting with her. John and Dan were there. I will give you a copy of.
Okay.
And pass that down. It's for our street committee person. So when we actually we had a sewer water meeting, and then we asked her where it was time to get the G Street bids out, and so I just gave Dan and John a copy of what we've gotten back. She will be putting the bid information out in the paper in the next week. And so I was not informed as to when the bids will need to be in. It'll probably be a couple of weeks after it shows up in the paper. I don't know how much time she gives them, but 2 to 3 weeks. So roughly in a month, it should be back here with bids for the street project. We also had a meeting on water and sewer, and we visited with Barbara about, and this kind of goes into number 10, we visited with Barbara about future plans, and she's going to begin doing a little work on finding a potential for a secondary well field, etc. So I'm going to move on into water and sewer. Towards the end of last week, we did have a pumping day of 200,000 gallons. Of course, we were filling the pool, so about 50,000 of that was probably a pool. But people are beginning to water again quite a bit. I have seen the water bills migrating upwards a little bit, so hopefully we get some rain tonight.
I'm assuming you don't have the numbers, but just out of curiosity for the next meeting, could you, if you have the numbers, could you look up static level in the well pumps, the current, compared to like compared to like 5 years ago?
Yeah, well, I don't know about 5 years ago, but the last couple of years, yeah, when they do, I don't think they've done a drawdown for this month yet, so I'll jot that down.
Oh, is this John's copy?
I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. We did, Dan presented, we had a safety meeting on 5/2/25. It was a Friday. One other thing, and I'll mention, it's somewhere in between streets, maintenance, wells, and sewer. Particularly involving the fire department, there is a planning commission meeting on the 29th at 7 o'clock here in this room. The planning commission will be talking about the possibility of a new fire department, the location, which presently is suggested to be in the maintenance shop area, in that lot. And then secondarily, we'll be talking about the possibility of turning this building, the older fire rescue department, into a community center. So the public interested or having comments, they will have a chance in a open forum type setting to voice their questions, concerns, pro or cons during that meeting. We'd ask as many people as what we can have to attend. Again, the idea is to get the opinion of the 7 planning commission members and present that to the village board. So we'd like to gather as much information as we can from the public, and the planning commission will visit about it. Try to answer any questions the planning commission has, and come up with a recommendation for a village board. That's all I have.
Okay, anybody have any questions? All right, that takes us to item number 11, approve or deny minutes as typed for the previous meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Any question? Ready?
James,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Marcus,
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
5 in favor, motion carries.
All right, any, item number 12, reports from committees and boards, anybody? All right. Meeting adjourned, so.